So I've been a portrait photographer for over a decade, and over those years I've really built up a stockpile of lenses and lights and grip gear and camera bags, enough to fill all these shelves behind me. And lately I feel like the gear has really gotten in the way of my creativity. Before a shoot I find myself thinking about what lenses and what lights I want to bring and less about the concepts and the ideas that I want to shoot. So being in this creative rut, I knew there's a problem here that I needed to fix, and I think I found a solution. So yes, I bought more stuff, but I did it with the intention of building this really small, minimalist portrait kit. Something with just one light and a camera, kind of strip away all the gear. I knew that's what I was going to grab for portraits, and really just focus on the images I wanted to create. So all this downsizing started with a trip to Ecuador last year. We had a 40-mile high-altitude trek planned, and I wanted to shoot portraits in my normal one-light style, but I didn't want to haul this Profoto B10 Plus in my backpack the whole way. So right around that time, Profoto actually released this, the little A2. This thing's about the size of a Coke can, but it has enough power to fill out a small softbox and compete with the sun, which is kind of the style I like to shoot. I'll balance natural light with strobe light to bring some attention to my subjects or my portraits. So the next piece of gear that really shrunk my kit is the camera itself. This is what I brought to Ecuador. It's the Sony a7 IV and the 50 1.2 lens, which is a huge heavy lens. But recently I picked up this little Fuji x100 VI. I didn't get this camera thinking it would really be a workhorse. It was just kind of a fun camera for hanging out with friends, and maybe some behind the scenes photos on shoots and stuff that I do. But I've been very, very surprised. I love the images coming out of this thing. I started to wonder if this little camera could handle a lot of the portrait work that I like to shoot. So the built-in lens on this camera is equivalent to a 35mm, which is great for a walking around camera, but I like something a little more telephoto, like 50mm, for a lot of the portraits I shoot. So I picked up the little Fujifilm teleconverter, and you add this thing to the front of the lens and it's equivalent to a 50mm, which is one of my favorite focal lengths. So with the teleconverter on the lens, I have a 50mm f2 kit that is much smaller and lighter than what I carried to Ecuador. So those are the main parts of my new Minimalist Portrait Kit, but there are a few other small items to get everything working together well. So let's go over those. So we already covered the camera, the teleconverter, and the flash, but there's a few other things that kind of tie this whole kit together. So this is the Profoto Click softbox. This thing opens up super easy, clicks into place just like that, and then the flash just sticks on there with a magnet, and it's actually pretty sturdy. I've never had an issue with this popping off. So some of the other smaller items. We have the little hot shoe trigger to get your Fuji camera talking to the Profoto. Like how tiny and light this is. Got a little baggie with a couple of spare Fuji batteries in here, and then some lens wipes. And I also keep a little 1/4 CTO gel just to warm up the light a little bit, and this also just magnet sticks to the front. And that's about it for now. So normally this kit all fits in here. And then this has everything but the camera. The camera is pretty much always on me. I just wear it over my shoulder. But this little thing can be dropped into a backpack, a camera bag, really almost anything. It's padded on its own, so a lot of times I'll put this in a hiking backpack or something like that. And then I'll put the softbox folded up in my water bottle pocket. So that's pretty much it for my minimal kit. One thing I forgot to mention, on the front of the teleconverter and the front of this lens, I have a Tiffin black Pro Mist filter, 1/4 strength on each one. I just like the film look that comes out of this camera, and that kind of helps soften skin and soften highlights, and it makes this camera weatherproof, and so that's just something I leave on the kit all the time. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below. What do you like about this kit? What do you think you would change? And I'll catch you in the next video.